Hello, everybody. So we are now at day 15 in the war, and things are not looking good, guys. Iran are targeting the U.S. oil factories, and it destroying all of that, sending gas prices and fuel through the roof. Donald Trump takes report and answers a few questions about what's actually taking place and the step that they're gonna be taking from now on. So definitely stay tuned. Let's check this out all the way to the end. Let's watch this.
So the situation in Iran is going very well. A lot of big hits today, a lot of big wins today, as you probably have heard militarily.
Okay.
And I think it's going very well, and it's a very good control. We'll see what's happening with the Straits. They continue to try and sabotage their own country in the Middle East, but it's been very, very strong militarily.
President, what's your message to voters who may be concerned about the potential for rising gas prices?
Well, I think your gas prices, as soon as that's over, are going to come tumbling down along with everything else. I think it's going to be, you're going to see a very big decrease in the price of gasoline, gas, anything having to do with energy as soon as this is ended.
I hope he kept his word on this one for sure, because man, the gas price is ridiculously high right now, and we just hope that as soon as the war done, it come back all the way down and not some BS.
We had to end the nuclear threat in the Middle East and throughout the world, and we will have done that.
Sir, do you still expect unconditional surrender? And what does that mean to you, sir?
To me, it means very simply that we are in a position of dominance that nobody's ever seen before. And whether or not they're able to say the words, or whether or not they're able to even fight, their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, most of their military is gone, their big threat is gone in every way. They have no radar, they have no anti-aircraft weapons, for the most part weapons, and for indefinitely they have no way of determining what they call visibility. So just about everything is gone, and you'll see that. But today we've had some very, very big hits, very powerful hits.
Mr. President, when will the Navy start escorting tankers through the Straits of Hormuz?
Have you spoken with Chinese President Xi about the Iran war?
Have, and we're discussing a couple of different things with him. Not only that, but other things.
President, on the same act, if Leader Thune cannot whip up the Republican support to either nuke the filibuster, reopen the government and pass the SAVE Act, or somehow...
It's called the Save America Act.
You're right, sir. Do you think if Leader Thune can't accomplish that, do you think the Senate needs a new leader?
It's certainly a very popular thing. I don't think there's ever been a bill that's more popular than the Save America Act. It's voter ID, it's proof of citizenship, it's things that are so popular. No men and women sports, no transgender mutilization of our children, so many different things. It's so good. No running around with the mail-in ballot nonsense that's gone on for so long that no other country does. No other country. We're going to clean up our elections. I don't think I've ever been involved in anything that's had the support of the Save America Act. So we'll see what happens.
How regularly are you speaking with Prime Minister Netanyahu? And are your objectives the same in terms of ending the war?
I think they might be a little different, I guess. You know, they're a different country than we are. But he will tell you there's never been a power like the power of the United States. I built our military in my first term, continue to do so, but I built our military and rebuilt it. It was in bad shape, just like the wall, just like the border, just like everything.
I know for sure that the Iranians will not back down. Like, you would have to wipe the entire country out for these guys to give up. Like, and these guys have a belief that when they die, they go to, like, they're gonna reborn or some shit like that, bro. Bro, these guys are crazy over there for sure, and these guys ain't not gonna back down. So it's gonna be a war that's gonna last until one nation is wiped out, I guess, or one government system is wiped out. That's basically what's gonna actually take for this war to end, because there's a lot in the behind scene that we don't know about, And these guys are fighting for their rights, and some people are fighting for power. That's what I can see for as an outsider observing what's taking place. But we want to see this thing end. We want things to get back to normal.
Our country was all in bad shape, but I rebuilt the military in my first term, and we're using it in this term to, really for the sake of good, for the sake of peace, and for the sake of safety and good.
It's crazy how you just say for the sake of peace. Before you, there were peace. You started the war. You actually started the war, so what are you talking about, peace? Bro, is something up here is different with this man, I ain't gonna lie. Talking about peace.
Daily? Do you speak with Netanyahu daily?
How long now do you think the war is likely to last?
I can't tell you that. I mean, I have my own idea, but what good does it do? It'll be as long as it's necessary. They've been decimated. Their country's in bad shape. The whole thing is collapsing. If you read some of the fake news, it's like, oh, they're doing wonderfully. They're not doing wonderfully. They're doing the opposite. They're doing as bad as you can have. I would say this. I won't give you time, but we're way ahead of schedule.
Can you comment on...
Way ahead of schedule.
I keep hearing way ahead of schedule for the first or the second day of this war. Like, it's been 15 days. 15 days. And he's still saying way ahead of schedule. Wow.
Make an offer to you this week that he would be willing to send in troops to take the uranium and store it?
I can't talk to you about it.
Sir, you made a post about Claudia Sheinbaum refusing your help in Mexico. What's your plan with Mexico?
Well, she should not have refused my help. I offered to get rid of the cartels in Mexico, and for some reason she doesn't want to do that. I like her very much, but she should get rid of the cartels because the cartels are, whether we like it or not, the cartels are running Mexico. We can't have that. Thank you.
Facing one of its toughest tests, Iran has unleashed another wave of missiles as the war with the U.S. and Israel enters its 15th day. Now, 60 people are injured as Iranian missiles strike in Israeli cities. And here's the next report that brings you the ground report.
Okay.
The alarms begin with a familiar sound. Sirens tearing through the quiet night. Residents rush toward shelters.
Are missiles?
Phones flash emergency alerts.
Wait, that must be scary to be over there at this time. Like, I wouldn't want to be over there, but we just hope for the best for all of these people and their safety, because just imagine the bombs just obliterate the building with you inside of it. Yo, it's crazy.
And within seconds, the sky above Israel erupts into streaks of fire. Interceptor missiles shoot upward. Incoming rockets race downward.
Yeah, so those are incoming rockets.
For years, Israel's layered air defense systems have been presented as nearly impenetrable.
Wait, that's for real?
David Sling, arrow interceptors guarding the skies. But this war is testing those systems like never before. This is the northern Israeli town of Zarzir. An Iranian ballistic missile attack caused this damage.
No way.
Homes reduced to rubble. There is destruction everywhere.
Oh my God.
It's terrifying. When there are sirens, you go straight to the shelter. No one says it is not falling next to me and that it is far away, and they start filming it. This scene I witnessed is unforgettable.
That's crazy. Look at the buildings. My Lord.
The residents in the area were afraid of the rockets, the shelling, and the violent explosions that took place in the region. The blasts reached the areas of Basmat Tabun, Zarzir, Ka'abiye, and the Jezreel Valley area. The explosions were extremely violent, and there was a great deal of concern about this.
The barrage was part of a fresh wave launched by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
I don't know how these guys are doing it, but that is scary as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. Like, at that point, bro, I just want to find me the quickest bunker to get down into. Just make sure it's stocked up with food, water, all this stuff to keep me entertained. I need my Elon Musk Wi-Fi. I need all of that, you know. And I'll be down there until everything is over. I know they got bunker buster that can go under, but yeah, I think that's the only place that you're going to be safe over there.
Iranian forces are now launching more heavier missiles with bigger payloads. Tehran says it is firing Khyber Shikan, Qadr and Khorramshahr missiles to hit US and Israeli military targets. The missile assault comes as Israel and US continue heavy bombardment inside Iran.
Oh, look at that building,
and
bro.
long-range strike weapons have targeted Iranian military infrastructure, missile facilities, and strategic sites across the country. Now, as the war enters its second week, both sides appear locked in a dangerous cycle.
Yeah, for sure.
Beyond World is One.
Man, this is crazy. See, this is ridiculous, bro. People are dying like crazy right now. Like 60 wounded in attack. Yo, it's crazy. It is crazy. Just to think about it, bro. I can actually feel the pain in those people right now. Like, what the people of Iran and Israel, they just want to go on with their day and not have to be hiding from rockets and drones. And yo, it's tough, bro. It's tough. But that's just the way it is. We just hope for the best every day I wake up. I just went on the news channel, hope to see some good news, but it's just always getting intensified every single day as they go by. It is crazy at this point, but leave your thoughts down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. I'll catch you guys sometime.